thing too is like we were watching the last like the 3 episodes last week.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of like Lauda, you brought up about how, like the color like colors
Yeah.
coming into it, right? Which
Mm-hmm.
was really interesting because like I know JoJo loves like character design, talking about colors and stuff, and how they play a role into a lot of characters when they're
Mm-hmm.
designed, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's like kind of subconscious too, right? Like some people it can
Mm-hmm.
be really subconscious, and some people are very strategic about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I 100% believe that the colors in this show are on purpose.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I feel like they're very purposeful with the character design and also in this case like the just playing into color theory.
Yeah.
Because for those of you who didn't really pay attention or just were not looking for those things, both Maomao and Jinshi, they're basically complementary secondary colors. So
Mhm.
you have Maomao who is wearing green, Jinshi purple. Yeah, like they're meant to be complementary.
Yeah.
And this also happens with like the concubines as well. You have
Mhm.
one that's like kind of like with the blue colors and then the concubine that Mao Mao's with the warmer colors. So like they play into this and also the flowers. Apologies for the interruption. This is post editing Laura. We briefly mentioned the symbolism behind the flowers in the podcast episode, but I wanted to give you some more context, starting with Mao Mao, who's closely associated with the daffodils, which signify rebirth and new beginnings. And this completely makes sense with her as a character because when we meet her, she is starting a brand new beginning in the royal palace as an apothecary. We also see these flowers in the opening sequence as well. And as for Jinshi, he's closely associated with the lotus flower, which this flower has a lot of meanings. It also signifies purity, rebirth, divinity, and it has close ties with Buddhism. So faithfulness, spiritual awakening. There's a lot more to Jinshi that meets the eye, but we'll get back to him in a second once we go back to talking about colors.
Yep.
Quite a lot.
Yes. Absolutely on purpose. Well, the other thing
Mm-hmm.
with Mao Mao is she's green, right?
Yeah.
And green as a color represents healing, medicine, like it represents the like, like nature as well.
Mm-hmm.
And as you can see, Mao Mao is very much like she's an apothecary, right? And so yeah, like medicine, healing, like that's her thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that is brought up in the series a lot is about Jinshi, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Jinshi is a character who, we don't really know a whole lot about at this point. In episode 4, still don't know a whole lot about him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Mao Mao has several times brought up how I can't remember what they're called. They start with an E. The guys, the men who were there at the estate,
Uh
and Nucha, I
and
don't know their name. That the men who work there can't have kids. They go snip snip, like just like a dog, snip snip. And they can't have kids because they don't want, like them to hurt the concubines or any of the women working there, right?
mm-hmm.
And she talks about like, oh well, like it sucks that he can't have kids, and then she goes, well, is he actually, or is he like maybe he works for the emperor, like maybe he's like one of his guards or one of his
Mm-hmm.
like generals or something. And she's like, well, he's kind of too young, like he's kind of too young for that. And
Yeah.
the reason I bring this up is because he is the color purple, so purple means mystery, right? There's a
Yeah.
mystery. But
Mm-hmm.
the other thing that purple also represents is royalty. And I think he's related to the emperor somehow. He could be a cousin, maybe his brother. I'm
Mm-hmm.
leaning towards his brother for what some reason. Like maybe one of like the one of many brothers, right? But
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
leaning towards brother because I feel like he has to have some kind of really important role in the series,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I feel like being the brother of the emperor would just make sense, at least in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah, we had this whole conversation last week.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
No, yeah. There's definitely at least related to him in some way, like cousin or distant brother. I could see it, definitely.